Hello and welcome back to another episode of Hesse Bros Pod. It's your boy Brent Hesse and joining me, my brother Luke. Luke, wow, what a scary Sunday, but a fun one for our Chiefs and Lions in Week 12. We both got a little bit of extra free football.
I mean, that was absolutely insane. Both those games when we're in overtime, and I did not think that the Lions had a good shot. The Chiefs somehow bring it back. I mean, both teams are down by 10, late in the game, really, and somehow are able to pull it out when both the seasons seemed like they were on the line. But the Hesse Bros pod can't die that easily.
Yes, I'm very glad. And I was there at Arrowhead screaming my lungs out. So if my voice doesn't sound as good, that's why. We're still just about 24 hours removed from that game, but I am fired up. So I didn't get to see much of the any of the other early games. I saw the score of the Lions game and looked like I was like, oh wow, it looks like they're gonna lose. So you'll have to fill me in, but we will start with Kansas City, Luke, because the Chiefs somehow get the victory. Yeah, down 11 points late in that one. Took overtime, but the Chiefs get it done.
Yeah, that was insane. I was honestly so locked in on the Lions game and hoping our season didn't fall through right there. I wasn't able to see a whole lot of it, but what it looked like to me was the Chiefs defense stepped up in that second half and was able to shut down the Colts and Jonathan Taylor for the most part, giving Mahomes many opportunities to be able to get them enough points to get that final touchdown. Brent, how did you see it going down in the stadium there?
Yeah, it was just really an impressive victory by Kansas City. One where they controlled the game a lot more than the scoreboard indicated, but it was still hanging on the cliff's edge. It could have easily gone the other way. Mahomes throws a pick back it against his own goal line on a great defensive play. Latu tips it up, makes the catch himself. The Colts turn that into a quick 7 points, about 5 yards out. And then the Chiefs are going in for a potential score. And Kareem Hunt fumbles the ball in the red zone in the fourth quarter, down 11. And at that point, it was like, could be over. This could be the season. But the Chiefs were just able to move the ball and stop Indy the whole second half. It was very, very impressive. Chiefs had 33 first downs in the game. That's the most any team has had in a single game this season. Or I think it's the top three, tied for the most. And I mean, they only were able to get 23 points in overtime, but still, the fact that they were able to move the ball, and meanwhile, they closed the game out with those three and outs in the fourth quarter, and then obviously still force a punt in overtime as well. So, yeah, very impressed by the way they looked on both sides of the ball when their backs were against the wall. Season was on the line. And now it went from if Rasheed doesn't make a play on 4th and 3, the season's over. Now the Chiefs are back to being AFC favorites.
It's crazy how it can change that much. And Brent, we all saw, your reaction from last week losing to the Broncos. How much of how much of your worry meter has gone from what you were last week, up at an 8, 9, thinking that the season was basically over? Where are you at now?
I definitely still have those concerns because even this game, they could have easily lost it. But the difference is they actually won the close game. So that has to give you some confidence. And when they thoroughly, and maybe not thoroughly, but they definitely outplayed the Colts in that game. They clearly looked to me like the better team. And that's obviously a potential team that they could see in the playoffs. So yeah, the worry is not near as high, but it is still high because the Chiefs are still on the outside looking in. A lot of the AFC wild card contenders won this week, so it's very still no little to no room for error for the Chiefs, but it was a great win and the resilience that they showed of have things not going their way early in the game, but still being able to come through when they needed to on massive stops and crucial drives means I don't think anybody in the AFC really wants to see the Chiefs. I think everybody is probably would have preferred not to see them come January.
Oh, they would definitely love to see the Chiefs not be able to make it into the playoffs. And like you said, Brent, that game was completely dominated. If it weren't for that tipped pick early in the game, I feel like the Colts would have had no momentum the entire time. So It really was a great win for the Chiefs, and we'll see if they can keep it rolling. I feel like it's been such an up and down season for them. Hopefully, they can ride this high out for you a little bit these next few weeks.
Just keep throwing the ball to Rashee Rice. He was absolutely cooking 140 yards, and Kareem Hunt with 30 carries, craziness, but it got the job done. So can't be mad about that. I still the 33 to 10 first downs is incredible. Wish it wasn't 20 to 20 at the end of 60 minutes, but they delivered the goods when needed. So yeah, I'm very happy about the result, and definitely say it's a little shot to the rest of the AFC. Hey, watch out! The Chiefs are still the top dog in this conference until proven otherwise.
Yeah, well, they're not going to be winning the division this year still, so they're going to be having a wild card game most likely if they're able to slip in. But yeah, any team that wins their division having to go up against the Chiefs first round, that would be a tough scene for them.
Well, look, let's start talking about the Lions game. So we were not too worried. You were very confident this week, probably the most you have been in a game all year long. And it did not look like they were going to come through till the very, very end. So just what does this game for you change your opinion on the team, and where were the struggles that made them have to come from behind against the Giants and Jameis Winston?
It really doesn't change my opinion too much on the team. I feel like we're still in a really good spot. Obviously, we needed that win, and we came through and when we were able to. The biggest things I was seeing was the Giants had to have those two crazy trick plays, a flea flicker where Jameis ends up hitting Wan'Dale Robinson wide open for a touchdown to start the game. And then in the start of the fourth quarter, right when they need another touchdown, they have some crazy play where they're throwing it around with a dude who's never thrown a pass in the league before, 40 yards across the field to Jameis Winston, and he catches it, does the Heisman on our linebacker that's lined up against him, throws him to the ground, and walks into the end zone. I
Yeah,
mean, after that play, I thought it was destiny that the Lions were going to lose.
I saw that on the jumbo screen and didn't realize it because they're just showing highlights in between commercial breaks and stuff. And I was like, who is that? Darius Slayton with the nice play down the field? Did not even know that it was the quarterback. And just incredible that Jameis did that. I was nuts. That guy is something.
Yeah, I was tweaking after that. I thought, this is how we lose to the Giants, and now we have to basically win so many games in a row to be able to stick around in the playoff picture. But we were able to get it done because of one guy. We only really need one player on this team, Jahmyr Gibbs, the best running back in the league. I mean, it's hard to debate against it with what he's been doing recently. The tough thing is he has had a couple of really bad games in the division against the Vikings and the Packers, not productive at all. But besides that, the rest of the season, he's on pace to, have one of the most yards. Like we've been saying for a lot of guys this year. First it was Bijan, then it was JT. Still they're hanging around, but I think Jahmyr Gibbs with that 260 total yard performance and three real breakaways, over 50 yard rushes. Truly insane. I mean, he's one of a kind.
You can thank the Chiefs for slowing down Jonathan Taylor to let this conversation seem valid this week. Chiefs did a good job against Jahmyr back early in the season as well. But the point about Jahmyr does definitely stand. He is electric with the ball. And yeah, he was obviously cooking for the Lions. So, oh, wow. I mean, how did he even do it? And what how did he even do it?
Yeah, because he's just so fast. I mean, all it takes is one cut. As soon as he gets past the linebackers, if there's no linebacker in the hole ready to hit him, he sees the safety, and there's no angle this guy can take on him. He's too quick. He makes one cut either way. And the guy's in the past. Like he even said, he knew he was going to score before he even had the first down, before he was even at first down yards on that first play in overtime, because there's just no way to catch him. All he has to do is run. He's one of the fastest players and got one of the shiftiest move packages I've ever seen because he can be going full speed one way and just stick his foot in the ground. He's going the other way. I mean, how do you stop it? You need three people around him to be able to stop him once he gets going.
And the only other thing the Lions needed was a little magnet in the football on that kick, or what? Somehow the Lions talk me through your emotions as that kick went up. Was that to tie it to send it to overtime? Is that right?
Yeah, that was the overtime kick, and I thought he missed it. I mean, the ball was going completely the wrong way. It hooked. It looked like it was going decent. Hooks to the right. I'm like, no way, we just lost to the Giants. 2 seconds later, here it comes somehow fading back in. I mean, I don't know what type of voodoo was going on in Ford Field. I don't know if they had the fans on that side of the stadium ready to crank up in case it was going the wrong way. I don't know, but that thing started swerving right back in, and that got me very fired up because I knew we were going to win at that point. Once it got into overtime, the Giants were not going to be able to stop the Lions after we just came back from down 10 points with barely any time left.
Yep, so kind of similar trajectories in terms of the way those games played out for both Detroit and Kansas City, and the same result. So you're still feeling all right, Luke, even though it was just a win against the Giants at home.
Yeah, my biggest concern is definitely I think the pass rush was not very good the whole game. That's why Jameis was able to have a ton of yards. I mean, we were leaving guys wide open just because he had he had all day to throw the ball, and it just can't be like that. Our pass rush was not where it needed to be. Even though Hutch did have a game-winning sack on that last play, that was really about all we had as far as pressure goes. And it has to be better than that whenever you're going up against good teams that can actually play defense and tackle your running back, which the Giants couldn't do, luckily. So we were still able to win. It was also really interesting. The Giants could have went up by 6 points, but instead they decided to go for it on fourth and goal on the 5 yard line, and basically just gave the Lions the win because if they just kick the field goal there, we have to go down and get a touchdown with like a minute and 30 seconds left. So, hey, shout out to the Giants for helping us out get the W too.
Yeah, it's a tough spot, with the especially with the new kickoff rules, even a field goal, then you already get the ball so much closer though. So it's like, you can try to put the game away going for it. So I get both sides of it, but obviously, yeah, it did not end up working out for the Giants there. And it was kind of, the Colts had decisions as well. They were the opposite. They played really conservatively, punted the ball on some fourth downs where it looked like maybe they could have gone for it. So did Kansas City, settling for field goals early in the game, but that is always part of the nature, is the decision making. And usually when it ends up leading to wins, it makes you look good. And when it ends bad results, it doesn't make you look good. But hey, you'll take them how you can get them.
Absolutely. I mean, this Giants team, even though they have lost, I think 6 games in a row now, they're not a terrible team. Like they do have some good players still, especially I mean, Jameis these last 2 weeks took it to the wire with the Packers and the Lions. I mean, they're definitely not a great team, but it's still good to get that win, even though it wasn't the way we wanted to get it, obviously.
Well, Luke, let's talk about our game of the week before we start talking about the Thanksgiving games. We are going to go a little shorter today and be part one of a part two episodes this week. So that way we can focus on the upcoming Thanksgiving games first. But the game of the week, Luke, the Eagles and the Cowboys. We were on our way back from Arrowhead, and Cowboys were my upset pick of the week. Saw it was 21-0. I said, this is cooked. But then as soon as I started watching, it looked like the Eagles could not do anything. And the Cowboys just slowly were coming back. Dak's dealing the ball. George Pickens is a star. And the Cowboys come all the way back. Eagles make some mistakes, a turnover, and Aubrey delivers the goods. And the upset pick of the week special works. And down goes the defending Super Bowl champions.
Absolutely. I mean, that was really incredible because we have not seen the Eagles lose in that fashion. I feel like if they lose, it's because, the other team gets out to an early lead. Giving up 21-point lead is not something that you would ever expect the Eagles to do with the way that they have their offensive line, can run the ball, feel like they can get first downs, as long as they have 3rd and 2, that's basically a first down. And to be able to for the Cowboys to hold that team to 0 points in the second half, that was not what I was expecting at all. And kudos to them. I feel like they've gotten something figured out on their defense, at least enough to be able to, be able to stop that.
Do you think that was more of a indictment on Philadelphia type game, or more of impressiveness on the Cowboys. Which one is the story of this result?
I think it's the Cowboys. They've been playing like pretty well recently, and we always knew their offense. That you got CD, George Pickens, and their running back Javonte Williams. He's playing well too. Dak Prescott feeding them the ball. It always came down to their defense if they were going to be able to hold up. And it seems like with the moves they made at the trade deadline, getting a couple players, and getting some of their other guys back healthy again, it's starting to work out for them. So if their defense can show any semblance of being able to stop somebody, I don't see why the Cowboys couldn't try to make a run at a wild card this year.
Yeah, I agree with that take because I kind of feel like the Eagles played who they like how they have been all year, which is play good for one half and play bad for another half. And usually they are able to get a one play to hold on and win those games, and it just didn't happen. But it kind of looked like a carbon copy of some of their games this season, besides not being able to pull out the win at the end. Meanwhile, for Dallas to come all the way back, it is impressive, Luke. And the Cowboys, they've got a big one that we're going to be talking about coming up on Thanksgiving. So, you ready to look at the Thanksgiving slate?
Let's do it.
Well, let's start with the Lions, Luke. They play the Packers first game of the Thanksgiving day. And right now it's a battle for just being having a spot in the playoff field and for second place in the division with the Bears still at number one, Luke. So for you though, do you think the winner of this game, Packers at Lions, puts themselves in the driver's seat in the NFC North?
Absolutely. The Packers still play the Bears twice, I believe, and the Lions still get to play the Bears in the last week of the season. I feel like they'll both be able to handle the Bears pretty well. Bears haven't really played anyone that special during their win streak, and I mean they just beat the Steelers with Mason Rudolph by 3 with an in comeback fashion. Still an impressive win, but I don't think the Bears are going to be able to take down the NFC North in Ben Johnson's first year. No way they can stay as hot down the stretch with a harder schedule. With that being said, this game means everything. The Lions versus the Packers on Thanksgiving. The winner of this is most likely, close to a lock for the playoffs with their remaining schedules and an absolute driver's seat for the division. Meanwhile, the loser is going to be fighting most likely for a wild card for the rest of the year. I mean, this game really has all the implications you could ask for in a game that everyone is going to see one of the highest rating games there is going to be all season.
Absolutely. It's very similar to kind of how the Chiefs games have been each of the last 2 weeks. A loss, and you put yourself in a really bad, precarious spot. A win, and you are one of the top teams in the conference. So the problem, though, Luke, is these guys have played each other once so far this year, and it was a flat out domination. The Packers looked better on both sides of the ball, getting pressure on Goff, making him uncomfortable, and then able to move the ball at will in the run game and in the short passing game. So, with this, what is going to have to change to make that not be the case this week?
I think that we're going to have to use our home crowd, our home field advantage for sure. It's going to take something to get Jordan Love thrown off his game because we know whenever he's playing his best, I mean, he could easily put up, 28, 30 something points on the Lions in this game. But if we can just throw him off a little bit, we need to get the pass rush going. Like I emphasized, how we weren't able to do that against Jameis Winston. If we give Love that type of time, he's going to tear us apart. And we really can't allow that. Luckily for the Lions in this game, they might still be gone. Josh Jacobs, Wilson did have a good game last week, but if as long as we can just control their run game, don't let them get any explosive runs, and get some pressure on Love, that's what we have to do. I have a feeling if the Lions are going to win this game, it's most likely going to be a low-scoring game because the Lions' offense has not been firing on all cylinders. I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs has been making great plays, but Jared Goff has been off more than he usually is and he's not going to. Now, I'd love for him to be able to make plays. It's definitely possible that he could make, you know, enough plays in a shootout to get the dub, but I don't think that's the way this Lions team is built to win right now, especially against the Packers pass rush that has been one of the best in the league and overall defenses.
Yeah, I think it could be a close, tight game, and it probably maybe a more of a defensive game. The over under is 48.5. That's the lowest of the three on Thanksgiving. Lions 2.5 point favorites. I think they do win this one, Luke. by maybe 3 or 4. It probably comes down to a field goal or a touchdown late. But hopefully, Jahmyr Gibbs can continue to keep that running game going, slow down that Green Bay pass rushing attack. And Lions need it for the division. So we will see.
This one's going to be all about who can dominate the line of scrimmage, and I think it's going to be really close. I mean, the Packers have great offensive and defensive line, and that's what these games usually come down to. I just feel like the Lions have enough playmakers outside of that to be able to get just enough points to beat the Packers. We're going to need a couple turnovers, a couple things to go our way, but I do think we're the better team. We'll get it done by a touchdown.
All right. Well, I'm not surprised that that is your pick, Luke. So we'll move on. Chiefs and Cowboys. It is the game following that one, 3:30, and the Chiefs are 3-point favorites. It might be the most watched regular season NFL game in league history. It's got the current dynasty versus America's team. So the people are gonna have the eyeballs are gonna be on this game, Luke. What is your question or thoughts on this game?
Absolutely, Brent. I would just ask, if the Cowboys are able to pull off this upset, is it going to be back into complete panic mode for the Chiefs where, it seems like they have close to no hope as far as making it into the playoffs? I know you probably don't want to put yourself in that mindset, but I feel like it might be a good exercise in case what might be coming happens.
Well, I will say this. Out of all the games remaining on the Chiefs schedule, this would be the best one to lose. It's an NFC game. It's not going to mess up a tiebreaker. And it just means the Chiefs would have to run the table. I think right now, with Kansas City sitting at 6-5, I think they have to probably get to 11-6 to make the playoffs in the AFC. It's going to be pretty tough. So I think they can afford one loss. And if it's a loss to the Cowboys as opposed to a loss to the Texans or the second loss to the Chargers or the Broncos, then you've still got more tiebreaker possibilities, more maneuverability if you do end up being tied. So it just means there's zero wiggle room. It's like the playoffs start. They would start at the start of December instead of in January. So it'd be like a whole extra month of playoff football. And obviously, you don't want to have no room for error. So it doesn't mean the season's over, but it means it's a back is as backed up against the wall as possible. And the way the Cowboys looked last week, yeah, they're at home. It's a short week. It's always tough for the road teams on short weeks. So you have to give the Cowboys a chance in this game.
Absolutely. And with the way the Chiefs have been playing this year, like I said, it has been up and down. Do you think they'll have an answer, or is CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, Dak Prescott, that offense that's on fire right now, especially coming off that huge comeback win? How are the Chiefs going to be able to stop that?
Well, it's going to be a big test for Kansas City's defense, and it's been a mixed bag, I'd say, for the Chiefs' defense this year. I think they played really poorly against the Jaguars. They played poorly against the Bills. But outside of those games, I think even in losses to the Eagles, they played well. The Broncos, it was the third down and did not look good. They played bad early in the season against the Chargers, but they've had some really good defensive performances, like the one we just saw on Sunday, where that Colts, you want to talk about a high flying offense, the Colts came into that game leading the NFL in yards per play and points scored and all this. And they didn't manage anything. They had one offensive touchdown really outside of a drive that started at the 5 yard line. So obviously it's a different style of attack where the Colts would prefer to keep it on the ground with Jonathan Taylor. Meanwhile, for the Cowboys, it's Dak. But I like the Chiefs secondary. I think obviously McDuffie is one of the best corners in the league. Now the question is, what can Jalen Watson do on the other side against Pickens or CD? Because right now those two are one of the most impressive combos in the league, and it's really thanks to Pickens. CD's kind of having his own struggles, but it's the Cowboys. There's always going to be something going on. They can never just be quiet and not a noisy team, even when they're having success, just like the Eagles. But yeah, I think that the Chiefs, it's a big test for the defense, but they can step up. They pass rush has to be better, and the secondary has. If they continue to play well, then I think the Chiefs can make it tough on Dallas.
It definitely could be, Brent. But I don't know. I think that this one has the makings of being a high scoring one. The Cowboys defense has been playing well, but it's going to be in Jerry World, like you said. So many eyes on it. I feel like it just has to be a point barrage. Mahomes, they don't have a great run game. He's just going to be airing it out on that Cowboys defense. Brent, is that kind of how you see this one going?
I think it's going to be a really fun game. I think the key is got to convert in the red zone. The Chiefs turnover in the red zone, settled for a bunch of field goals, didn't have a touchdown until the fourth quarter, just kicking field goal after field goal. So you cannot do that every week against, especially on the road. That's hurt them in games past. So you got to convert in the red zone. Love to find Kelsey in the end zone, Rashee Rice, whoever it is, making plays down the field. I think the Chiefs win this game, and I think it is probably pretty high scoring, where Kansas City eclipses 30, probably 33 to 24, something along those lines.
All right, Brand. Well, I hate to break it to you, but I'm going the other way on this one. The Cowboys really proved a lot to me, and they were your upset pick last week against the Eagles. I know no one would be really too surprised, I feel like, at this point for the Cowboys to keep their streak alive, and I certainly wouldn't be one of them. Hey, might as well get an early upset pick of the week. Sorry, B. Hess. I'm going with the Cowboys, and what they got going on right now is really impressive. I'm going with the Cowboys 35 to 31.
Well,
Bang.
look, with the track record of your upset picks over the last couple of weeks, I'm glad you're taking the Cowboys.
All right.
No, of course, it's going to be a tough one. They're on the road. It's only a 3 point spread, and Chiefs were favored by 3.5 against the Colts. So it's just as tough, if not harder, this week, and it won't be easy. But that's two very important games for the Chiefs and Lions. And then, Luke, we'll close it out with the final game. And we'll just touch on this one quickly because maybe Joe Burrow comes back for the Bengals against the Ravens. What do you think? What do you expect to see in that one? And do the Bengals have a chance if Joe Burrow plays?
I think if Joe Burrow plays, they will have a chance. I mean, he might be a little rusty coming back that quick, but I mean, you can throw on this Ravens team. It's not like they're complete lockdown. So we've seen Joe Burrow versus Lamar, shootouts before, so this could definitely be one of those. I doubt he plays though, just because they're basically out of playoff contention now. So I think this one should be a pretty easy one for the Ravens. Hopefully Lamar can get back to the way he's played in years past. We still haven't necessarily seen that since his injury.
I like Baltimore in this one too. The Bengals defense, I just don't trust. Even, their offense is sometimes great with Joe Flacco. They still lose games because they can't stop anybody. So Lamar should cook and the Ravens should win. Luke, you got any best pick of the Thursday slate?
Well, Brent, you were talking about him earlier. That boy, that jit, George Pickens. Give me him for the touchdown this week. I mean, he's just going to get lobbed up to, probably dunk on somebody, dunk on whoever's in the crowd, maybe if he wants to, if there's a Chiefs fan. Who knows what he's going to do for his celebration, but it's going to be lit, and all eyes are going to be on him. Seems like that one's going to be a lock.
What's going to be a lock is the receiver on the other side of the field is going to be the one that has the big game. Luke Rashee Rice, 100 yards. He was coming off 140, and he's going to keep cooking. So I'll take Rashee 100 yards against the Cowboys on Thanksgiving.
Also, if you want another bet for the Lions game, go Amon-Ra St. Brown over receptions, whatever it is. We're going to have to throw the ball to him a lot here.
Well, there you have it. There is our part one of our Week 13 Hesse Bros. As we've got the Thanksgiving extravaganza that features both our teams, the Chiefs and Lions, both coming off of overtime victories. So, how quick will they be able to turn around and bounce back? Because I'll tell you what, I'm still bouncing back myself from that Arrowhead experience yesterday, Luke. But wow, what a week it was, and no time to rest. We got Thanksgiving football on Thursday.
Absolutely. Two huge matchups. And, it's not the Hesse Bros Bowl like it was about a month ago, but it's about as close as you can get two back-to-back primetime games with both of our teams. Should be a great day. Hopefully, we can both just be eating Thanksgiving dinner with a clear conscience. Because if either of us drop this game, it's not going to be looking great.
That is true. Well, good luck on your upset pick, Luke. I don't think I have to worry too much about you making an upset pick, right? You've been in a slump, but I'll be rooting for your team, Luke, the Lions, and of course, the Chiefs against America's team. That is going to be a fun one, and I think it's going to be the most watched game. We'll keep an eye on that, and we will be back to talk the whole NFL picture. And of course, we'll have our 12 pack, so make sure you stay tuned for later on in the week. Thank you for tuning in to the Hesse Bros. Like, subscribe, follow, and we'll see you after Thanksgiving for some more football.